Let's call to order. Roll call.
Trustee Belinda's here. Trustee Santangelo?
Here.
Trustee Monahan?
Here.
Trustee Naraya?
Here.
Trustee Fosco?
Here.
Trustee Soraya? Trustee Pesco? We have a quorum.
All right. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have a motion on the floor to appoint Alice Melendez as temporary secretary.
I'll make it. I'll second.
Second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, so ordered. Account balances, general fund checking, $124,429.95. Building fund, $102,340.03. Gift fund balance, $2,083.26. Reserve account, $287,247.77. Total cash on hand, $516,101.01. And the fiscal year 25-26 expenditures to date are $1,068,118.13. On the consent agenda, approval of the August 11th, 2025 board meeting minutes. Approval of the September 8th, 2025 board meeting minutes. Approval of the payroll for September 2025. Approval of medical insurance for October 2025. Acknowledgement of the treasurer's report. Approval of IMRF payment for September 2025, and the approval of the general fund disbursements for September 2025. Need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
I'll second.
call the roll.
Trustee Belinda's yes. Trustee Santangelo?
Yes.
Trustee Monahan?
Yes.
Trustee Narayan?
Yes.
Trustee Fosco?
Yes. All right, for informational purposes, board correspondence and public communication. You can read this. Okay, so the library received several emails from the following people regarding the meeting room policy and the application of usage fees for the non-501c3 groups. Most comments expressed concern about access fairness, interpretation of transparency, while few sought clarification of the library's legal obligations under Illinois law. Copies of the emails are included in this package. We have one from the editor of the Elmwood Park Advocate, one from Lisa Dinson, one from Jim Downey, one from Laura Knotts, one from Lily Lukowski, one from Lauren Ead, one from Laura Lewis Farr, one from Lori Cristofano, and one from Meredith Sinani. Public participation and comment. We have,
Just a quick point. Those are not included in the packet.
I will send them up.
Didn't we already get it?
I thought we already did.
No, the emails were copied.
Right.
Right. But I will include them in the final package.
Under public participation and comment, we've got 3. Jack Bauer.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Okay, thanks. I want to express my strong support for keeping the library's meeting rooms open for community use, especially for events like the community conversations hosted by the Elmwood Park Advocate. I think we can all agree that libraries are an important space for dialogue and learning. When neighbors come together to discuss local issues in a respectful way, like the community conversations have, it's exactly the kind of public engagement a library should welcome. In my opinion, we all should be thrilled that this is happening. Imposing restrictions on select groups arbitrarily indicates the library wants to control community discussion. Also, I noticed that recordings of recent library board meetings have broken links on the library's website and are hidden on its Facebook page. It seems this happened after the library began receiving public criticism over the meeting room. This library publicly proclaims a commitment to transparency, but this action suggests the opposite. I hope it's only a temporary lapse and that the recordings are restored, especially since the 5 p.m. Meetings make it difficult for many residents to attend, and those recordings were one of the rationale that allowed.
Thank you.
Next on the list is Julia Bell.
Hi, everyone. My name is Julia Bell. I've lived here almost 24 years, and I want to echo what Jack said. I don't have any prepared comments other to say I'm just so sad that there is suddenly this special look taken at the Elmwood Park Advocate, which is sponsoring these community conversations. Everyone in the room who ran for library board and the people who didn't win all ran on a platform of having the library be a hub of community building, safe space, all these platitudes. And so I hope you will not change course now. Segura and Trustee Monahan have been at these meetings. You have seen that this has been a great opportunity for community members to be together to talk about everything from parking tickets. And I will add that Officer Rodriguez has attended the last 3 meetings. There is no secret agenda. In the last 2 meetings, people have talked about great things about Elmwood Park, and in the meeting on Saturday, people shared things that they are worried about. People in this neighborhood have concerns, are worried, and there were 25 people. We filled this room, and you came and you saw, and and Mr. Segura came and participated 2 meetings ago. What is the problem? Why are we suddenly taking a look at an organization that I know you're not saying that we can't have this space, but to suddenly want to charge a fee when groups have used this to gather, dads have gathered, you're going to set yourself up for failure. If you make this policy, then everyone's going to be looking at you to make sure that everybody has this 501c3 paperwork. You know that this group is a nonprofit organization. And if you would come to the meetings, you would see us doing great work. It felt great to meet people. My kids go to parochial school. I don't know anyone except my block neighbors. At this meeting, I've met all sorts of new people, and also a ton of people moving here from Old Park and River Forest. So they don't have school children experience too, and they need a place to, to meet other people and talk about their shared concerns. Initially, there was this talk that there were 6 or 7 people who complained to Trustee Pesco. I don't know what happened, but I could tell you there's 6 or 7 people or more here that feel the opposite and would like to know that this space can be used not every Saturday, but occasionally. I have no idea what the plan is for meeting, but without this very targeted, punitive, way to kind of slow us down and gum up the works. You're just going to make the library look bad if you support that. I really think you are, because it's going to put other groups out as well. It's going to put everyone out who doesn't have the paperwork out when you know that we are not making any money, or this group is not making any money, and it's been a great way for people to get together. And the people who complain to whomever, they should come. They should come and see. There's a seat for everyone at the table. And I think the next thing they want to talk about are issues that people enrolling their kids in school have had here. It has nothing, it is not political. There is no hidden agenda. And if it's not going away. This group is not going away, whether they pay or they have a bake sale to raise the money, or you guys just come to your senses and see that it is not a good look for you to be pushing back and making this a fee-based room rental. Thank you very much.
All right, next on the list is Kevin Gastola.
Thank you everyone for coming. I'm really humbled that my neighbors and new friends that I've been able to make through doing these conversations have shown up to show support and to say that they, are with me in defending access for all residents of Elmwood Park. It is October 13th. For the past 2.5 months, the library director has incorrectly and unfairly invoked the library's meeting room policy to force the Elmwood Park advocate to pay $100 an hour to use the library's main meeting room. The library director has claimed that he must do this because 7 or 8 people complained to him. They objected to, quote, the process and rationale behind hosting our meetings at the library, end quote. But a public body is not allowed to infringe upon or bar a group from broadly exercising their First Amendment rights just because a very small group of hecklers do not like the idea that a group is exercising their rights. This is the rule against the heckler's veto. The library director maintains, and this is in one of his responses to community concerns, quote, I am a strong advocate of the Bill of Rights and the protections it guarantees, including free speech and assembly, end quote. Yet the library director went against this principle for upholding the First Amendment. Worse, in August and early September, the library director developed a meeting room policy proposal that would have granted him the authority to police speech not just inside the library's main meeting room, but also outside of the library. For example, let me read you. Although it's been junked, this provision was here. It was on communications and neutrality. The library's meeting rooms may not be used for the purpose of producing or disseminating communications, whether written, verbal, or digital, that reference library-hosted meetings or programs in a way that creates political commentary, endorsement, or criticism of public officials, trustees, or other participants. Upon information and belief, the library's attorney recognized that this was a blatantly unconstitutional provision to include in a meeting room policy. That is because, to restrict speech, a library must show that it has a compelling state interest and that the speech restrictions are narrowly drawn to achieve that end. There was no public safety or health reason for this restriction, and it definitely was not narrowly drawn, as it included digital communications that would have applied to articles published by the Elmwood Park Advocate. After several residents wrote to the library director with their concerns, he did not want to go through the difficulties of defending his meeting room policy proposal. He caved, and he threw it in the trash, which is frankly where I had told him it belonged. But he told residents there is no plan to change the current approved meeting room policy. Well, that's simply false. The Elmwood Park Advocate obtained a copy after submitting a Freedom of Information Act request. We published it. It lives as a document that shows the deep, most private intentions that the library director apparently has when it comes to undermining our access to the library's main meeting room. We continue to use the room, and we haven't paid a dime to use the room. This last time that we had a community conversation was the most bizarre. The library director paid $100 so that we didn't have to pay a fee that no matter what the library's paid attorney says, isn't in the current meeting room policy. It simply does not say that a not-for-profit newsletter should have to pay $100. It lists, quote, for-profit organizations and non-Elmwood Park nonprofit groups, end quote, as needing to pay a fee. There is no fee listed for not-for-profit community groups or resident library card holders. A fair and impartial reading of the policy would require us to use the main meeting room, but with no alternative other than to weaponize the present meeting room policy against us. Remember, he junked the proposal. The library director paid Klein, Thorpe, and Jenkins to draft something that could justify suppressing meeting room access further for our newsletter. That doesn't seem ethical, in my opinion. So where are we now? What happens next? All of this conduct not only infringes upon the rights of the advocate, but also our subscribers, our readers, those who are attending our community conversations, people in this room today. This number far exceeds the handful of residents who have trouble managing their feelings every time that we use the meeting room. Where do you as library board trustees stand? 3 library board trustees, Pete Fosco, Jesus Chuy Segura, and Mike Monahan, have attended community conversations. You see how we're using the room. You also see how the library director has chosen to handle our use of the room. Is that acceptable? Could you publicly defend his treatment or mistreatment to residents in Elmwood Park? I had something for Mr. Pesco, but he's not in the room, and out of respect, I won't call him out. So I'll continue. If you do not support this, you should rein in the library director. Please stop wasting our time. There are important issues in the world for us to deal with. We have a right to use this meeting room space, and we intend to use the space again in November. Thank you.
Thank you. And I've submitted a proposal to amend that policy so that we can clarify this in the BGPP committee. That proposal was tabled in September and I believe expired at this point. But I have since proposed another amendment to the chair of the BGPP committee who couldn't be here today. I don't know why we don't have a policy committee, but that proposal will define who is able to use the room for free or who has a charge. I'm hoping that we will have a BGPP committee meeting next month so that this board and that committee can decide that formally.
All right. I think that was it for public comment. Yes. All right, building committee. Anything?
Director's report.
I'm sorry, director's report.
In your packet is my director's report. Any questions or concerns you can address. I go through the programming and the current status of the building and moving along. So forth.
Building committee,
Nothing new to report.
bylaws, goals, policy, personnel committee.
That's two, and he's not.
All right. Finance committee, audit committee.
Yep, the finance committee reviewed the documents in the packet, and we have nothing new to report.
All right. Thank you very much. Unfinished business. Anything? Mike?
Nothing.
New business. We've got the local history policy, and under the personnel policies, we have time reporting policy for full and part-time staff members, employee attendance and unpaid time off policy in the personnel manual, drug and alcohol testing policy in the personnel manual, dress code policy in the personnel manual, employee reimbursement in the personnel manual, social media policy, staff photography policy, programming policy, unattended children policy, and there's no change to that, active shooter policy, and no change to that. We can take a motion for all of them to approve the following policies.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Call the roll.
Trustee Valdez, yes. Trustee Santangelo?
Yes.
Trustee Monahan?
Yes.
Trustee Narayan? Trustee Fosco?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Awesome. We have nothing for executive session?
Nothing for executive session.
Okay. That it? Motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
We have a second?
Okay.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed?